the importance of blade diameter, and how do you know which blade to use on what clients? In this video, I'm gonna go over the importance of blade diameter. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christy and I'm the owner of Boss Brows. I've been in the beauty industry for almost 9 years now, specializing in microblading and microblading training. This channel is all about microblading tips and helping you grow your business. The video you're about to watch is featured in the Boss Brows online training, a self-paced microblading course designed for the newbie or microblading artist who's looking to master the craft and create flawless brows. So if you're ready to step up your brow game, I'll post the link below in the description along with all the other tools I'm using in this video. In order to create flawless brows, you really need to have a good understanding of the blade diameter. There are 4 different aspects of the blade configuration: shape, flexibility, number of pins, and blade diameter, or millimeter. We also refer to this as the size of the blade. Understanding all 4 of these aspects is gonna help you choose the proper blade for your client. A microblading blade is made up of a number of pins. Those pins vary in size. The size of the pins are measured in millimeters, and they're going to vary between 0.15 millimeters and 0.25 millimeters. The size of the blade that you choose should match the client's natural eyebrow hair density, how thick or thin their eyebrow hair is. Therefore, if a client has really fine hair, you want to choose a blade between 0.15 and 0.18 millimeters. That's going to be a smaller blade and create super fine, crisp strokes. You want to match the size of those super fine hairs on your client. By using a smaller millimeter of blade, you're matching the size of those hairs. Another thing to remember is that the smaller blade you use, the more microblading strokes you can fit in. So if a client has really fine hair, we want to make it look more dense, and we really want to be able to pack in those strokes. So a smaller blade is going to allow us to do that. Now, this is only one factor when choosing the blade configuration that you're going to use on your client. There's also shape, flexibility, and number of pins. I go over all of that in my online training, but today we're just going to be focusing on the diameter. So again, if you're wanting to check out my online training, I will post that link in the description below. So if you're trying to fill, reshape, define your client's eyebrows, you want to make sure you're choosing the correct size of blade. So that means the diameter or millimeter of blade. For someone with super thick hair, you want to use a blade that has a 0.20 to 0.25 millimeter. This is going to be a thicker diameter blade, creating a thicker stroke, which will mimic the actual hair on your client. So you really want it to emulate their real hair so it looks as natural and realistic as possible. I'm going to show you the difference in blade diameter. So I'm going to start off with a 0.25. So this would be the largest blade diameter. So that means all of these pins that make up the microblade have a diameter of 0.25 millimeters. And this specific blade happens to be a hard blade also because it has that metal covering. Okay, so it's very slight, the difference you'll see, but when you have healed results on a client, you will be able to tell the difference. I love these hard blades on synthetic skin. They really do just glide so well. Now I'm going to use a 0.20 millimeter, and this is a flex blade. So already you can see the difference between these 2 diameters. It's very subtle, but you can see the difference. This one's just a little bit thicker and this one's a little bit smaller. So I would want to use the thicker diameter blade. So 0.20 or 0.25 millimeter on someone with really thick hair. I do have a 0.16 millimeter. So check out the difference between the 0.25 millimeter, the 0.20 millimeter, and the 0.16 millimeter. It's very subtle, but you can see a difference. Now I'm gonna do it side by side. So here we have the 0.25, then we have the 0.20, then we have the 0.16 millimeter. It is so subtle, it really is, but if I show you the difference between the 0.25 versus the 0.16, it might be a little easier to tell. So that's 0.25 millimeter, that's 0.16 millimeter. Again, you really just want to match the client's hair. So if you're doing someone who has really thick hair, stick to the, larger millimeter size, which would be between 0.20 and 0.25 millimeter. We're between 0.18 to 0.20 millimeter. And someone with really fine hair, you want to stick to the thinner blades, which would be the 0.18 and below, all of the nano blades.